In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a scratch off assignment or whatever you want to do with it in Keynote. So you could do it as a choice board, you could do it as just a different assignment, you could walk your kids through making their own scratch off assignment, things like that. So start with finding your Keynote app. It is the blue square with kind of a podium on it. And we need to create a new one. So your plus sign is up here. And you're going to hit choose a theme. And you can pick whatever theme you want. You can have a black background. You can have a white background. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to do a white background. And we want this to just be a blank canvas. So I'm going to tap on each text box and then hit delete. So that way we don't have it anymore. So then we need to decide what shape we want as our scratch off. So I'm going to hit the plus sign to add a shape, and then the shape, which is the circle and the square. And you can go through and you can pick just a circle or a square. You can pick different symbols, kind of whatever you want. I would personally recommend one that doesn't have a lot of holes in the middle. Like these faces down here would have a lot of holes. As you practice this skill, then eventually you can be able to do the one with the holes, but you have to have a few more steps with that. So I'm just going to do this giant splat. And I'm going to make this one take up a good chunk of the page, just so for us to make the scratch off, and then we'll make it smaller. I need to remove the color on the inside and also add a border for us to be able to trace. So to do that, make sure that your shape is selected by having that blue square around it. If you accidentally tapped away from it, you can just tap on it again to select it again. And then I'm going to hit the paintbrush. And first thing, I'm going to remove the fill. So on fill, I'm going to tap on it, and then I'm going to tap no fill. If you are in the color area, just make sure you're on preset. And then you can hit no fill. I'm going to go back to style. Now I need to make the outline or the border bigger. So first of all, I'm going to turn the border on. And then I'm going to increase it, which I can do by holding down on the plus, or I can keep tapping it. And you want a pretty decent border size because you're going to end up tracing it. So 25 to 30 is probably good, depending on the shape that you did. Like mine kind of gets close here, so I'm not going to go much bigger than this. When I'm done, I'm going to tap away from that menu. So now we need to add the coloring in the middle. If you have an Apple pen or a Logitech crayon or anything like that, you can just tap your screen and it'll turn the drawing tools on. If you do not have the Logitech pen or Apple pen, plus over to media, and then you'll hit drawing, and that'll turn on your drawing tools. And so somewhere on your screen you should have a circle with the pen, or maybe you have this bar, and we're going to use the paint tube. So that is next to the eraser right here. And you're going to pick your color that you want to use. And then what you're going to do once you're on the paint tube is you are going to use your Apple pen or Logitech pen, or if you want to use your finger, you are going to trace inside that border all the way around your shape. And it doesn't need to be perfect, but you want to be as much inside the shape as possible. And like that, so you can see I missed a spot. We will go back and touch that spot up. And I go all the way back to the beginning of my trace. So I have a few spots I need to touch up. Like this area, I'm just going to add another tracing in. I don't really care if it goes into the border very much, because we'll bring that border to the front. I'm just touching up and adding in any spots that I missed. So Looks kind of rough right now, but that's okay. So then I'm going to hit done up here in the upper left. And so now my drawing is in front of the border, and we want to bring that border to the front. So right now with my drawing being selected, I'm going to hit the paintbrush, and I'm on arrange. And right now the drawing is in the front. If I drag this to the back, it moves my drawing to the back and it brings the border to the front. Next, we want to group these together because right now, if I tap and drag, I'm bringing my border away from it. So if you tap on your screen away from either of those and you hit select objects, and then down here, we're going to hit select all. And that's going to pick up the border and your color from the inside. And I'm going to hit done. And then now they're both selected. I can group them together. So now if I drag it around, it takes both of them and I can resize it. So that's why it's easier to do drawing really big, and then you can make it smaller and add multiple of them. So now if I go back to my drawing tools and I can erase, and there's your scratch off. So now how do we add the problems behind? Well, a couple ways to do it. One, I could write the equation in that I want students to solve, or whatever problem it is. If you do it this way, so make sure I write the problem I want them to do, I'm going to go and hit done. I'm going to tap away. So that way now they're not both selected. I'm only going to select that equation that I want to be underneath my drawing. And after I tap on it, I'm going to hit the paintbrush. And then I'm on arrange, and I want to lock this in. So that way when I erase my scratch off, so if I move this over it, so that drawing's in front. If I hit the scratch off, paintbrush, I'm on arrange, I can move it to the front again. So that way it covers that drawing that I just did. And now if I erase my scratch off, because I locked down that other problem, it doesn't erase it. So that's one way to do it. You could also add in a text box. So plus sign, shapes, and if you go to basic, there's a text box option, and I can tap in it, double tap in it to add something. So I could do find the slope intercept form of the line with a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of 5. So I have my text box. I'm going to just copy and paste. Copy, so by tapping on it, and then I hit copy, and then tap on the screen away from it, hit paste. So now I have another scratch off that they can erase to solve the problem. You could add in a picture, and if the picture is bigger, you can resize it, or you can resize your scratch off problem. If you copy and paste, just be careful, make sure that when we resize it and whatnot, you see that they're still grouped together. And that's how you create a scratch off assignment or choice board in Keynote.